66-day marketing campaign. Throughout the 66 days, you want to be dropping non-stop content. Now, within this time period, you want to be collecting people information as well, right? So you're going to come up with some type of landing page to get people involved into your music. For example, you drop a content, people liking, people engaging, but you're not collecting none of these people information. So now you're depending on Instagram and Facebook to get these people, or you're depending on your DSP to get these people. Well, you're gonna kind of run into a jam, because what if your DSP go down? What if your Instagram, you know how Instagram is, they'll pull your account.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Pull-Up Experience Podcast Edition. Now, y'all know my pull-up game strong, and I know y'all can see I'm outside today. I came all the way to the A to introduce y'all to somebody y'all need to know. I am sitting here with Inks of LNF Media, and he is going to tell us all the juicy things about what he does. Now, if you are somebody who I know you are, that needs to get your mind right, especially if you are operating in a creative space, specifically if you are in that music industry, I got the one. I came all the way to Atlanta to find him. Now, y'all know usually I'm at 4425 Mayfield Road, Cleveland Heights, Ohio, 44121, and we are at 2U Wines, and we are taking a little sip today. I had to come pull up a little bit different, right? I had to come and show what Cleveland was about. And in that, I got the opportunity to sit down and meet a fantastic young man. So without further ado, I'm going to hand this mic over to him and let him introduce you to him. Let him introduce himself to you.
It's all right, girl.
Now, that was a great introduction. I appreciate
thank
that
you.
for sure. So I'm Inkz Billy again. I got a media company. I'm a music entrepreneur. I call myself. I'm in the content space. I'm looking to transition from music to content only. Like, it really intertwine with each other. Both of them kind of like the same thing, but actually instead of focus on music artists, I'm trying to focus on companies, because I'm finding myself like in a better space with like CEOs.
Okay.
So talking to CEOs and getting the business structure, I'm starting to like that a little more than artists. I've been in the music industry for like 10 years, so I've been doing it for a minute. So I've been trying to find my pivot, you know what I'm saying? So I'm finally finding my stride.
Okay. So content is a big thing for entrepreneurs, and if you have not, we talked about it a little bit off camera. So I'm gonna tell them what I told them. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let them know, because I be putting on for my city. I'm hardly home, but I'm always repping, and I let them know that we are a community of entrepreneurs, and we are an entrepreneur elevation group. We are all about the pulling up, and sometimes the biggest thing for your elevation is your exposure. So the fact that you are helping them with content is amazing, and thank you for that. Now that I figured out who we gonna do it, we got to talk about how we gonna do it. First of all, what does LNF stand for?
LNF stands for Lost and Found. I created at a spot when I was trying to figure out my pivot. Like, so that's why I said Lost and Found, because I was kind of lost for a little minute, because like when you do something for so long, it's not exciting no more. So I had to find like what still excites me. So that's why I call it Lost and Found.
Now, a lot of us struggle with content creation because it's a stressful process for us. We have to do all the thinking, we have to do all the work. We got to find somebody to take pictures and not charge us nothing, because we ain't made no money yet. But when we are willing to invest, we willing to, put down a couple Chipotle bowls and really, stack our little money up so we can afford y'all. What does the process look like when we work with you?
Really, it's an intricate process, because you got to really figure out what the client is trying to get. Everybody is different. Some people want to make more money. Some people want more people. Some people want fame. Some people want just to get their product off the shelf. Like, it really just depends on what the client wants. Once I could identify like their need and their base, then it allows me to kind of figure out, the next step.
So I love that, because I cannot stand a done for you project that is like everybody get the same thing. You get the same thing. You get the same thing. You get the same thing. Because what's going to happen? They're going to start scrolling and see that we're all the same thing, and none of us are going to stand out. So I love the fact that you take your time to actually get to know us. Now, I heard you say that you started as an artist and you're naturally an artist, and you used to help, or still do, but you're transitioning from just the artist industry. How did you get started with that?
So I was never so I was an artist, but it was like a long time ago. I went from an artist to the music business side. So like, actually, it's a difference between like rapping and then the person that's behind the rapper. So I found my natural talent as the business person, not really the person on stage. That really wasn't my thing. And to me, it's a really hard being a rapper. It's way easier just to play the person that's behind them, you know. So that's where I kind of gravitated towards. But I've been doing that for so long, it wasn't really fun no more. In the music industry, it's stressful. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a tour manager, so you traveling every day, no sleep. It's like the streets, to be honest with you. So like, you know, it's fast money, but it wear on your mind and your spirit. So like, I had to figure something out to kind of get myself out of that. So the content kind of already was doing that anyway for the artists. So now I'm just transitioning from that to like actual business people.
Okay. Now, let's say I'm brand new and I know I got to get on IG. I've been at these conferences, I'm walking down the street, I'm looking at my competitors. Everybody is marketing and creating content. When it comes to content, and let's just start with me, right? I help entrepreneurs, and all I need is for them to know that I exist and how fly I am. And I can do the rest. You know what I'm saying? I can set the funnel up, but I need you to help me with my content. What does that process look like when we're working together?
So again, when it comes to content, like, you just gotta identify like what's your audience and what you're trying to sell and what you're trying to give them. You know, everybody is trying to get something. Somebody either trying to make some money, or they trying to give some money, or somebody trying to get somebody attention. Somebody trying to get something. So once you identify like what are you trying to get and what are you trying to solve, and the best form of that is emotion. If you can move emotion, you can move people, and if you can move people, you can make money. So I always tell them like, yo, if you're trying to sell something, you got to get their emotions involved into it, because people, they don't think, they usually move with their emotion. So if you're trying to sell something, you might want to tap into that. And then once you tap into that, you pretty much got their attention.
Ooh. Now, what I really love about you is you understand the psychology of it all. A lot of people focus on the demographics, and you specialize in the psychographics, right? So the demographics are like the stuff we can see on the outside, right? Psychographics are all the mindset stuff. And we all know with entrepreneurship, it's mentality before it's reality. You seem to have conquered that space and been able to help people through that. Am I correct in assuming that?
Yeah, because everything starts with the mental. Like, if you can get somebody mental, you can get anything else. The body is nothing without the head. So you knock the head off, the body's just gonna fall automatically. So it's the same thing with sales. If you can conquer somebody and talk to somebody and not persuade them, but get them to understand and move them and make them feel an emotion, you got their attention. And if you got their attention, you can sell anything.
So, are you from Atlanta?
Now, I'm from Virginia originally. I moved to Atlanta about 4 years ago.
Now, how has that process been for you mentally?
Atlanta is it's dope, but it is hard if you just moving here. If you don't have no family here, if you don't have a lot of people here. I was fortunate because I did have people here, but I could understand the transition if you didn't. But I would tell any entrepreneur, any black entrepreneur specifically, this is probably the best place you could be. I travel. I'm a tour manager, so I've been to almost every city you could think of in the USA, and I haven't met too many places like Atlanta. There's a couple other places, but when it comes to black entrepreneurship, it really don't get no better than Atlanta.
Now, do we have to be Atlanta based to rock with you?
No, sir, you could be from anywhere. To be honest with you, most people I meet in Atlanta, they're not from Atlanta. So like, you rarely meet somebody who's actually born here. So you could be from anywhere, and I can rock with you.
What does that content creation capture look like? If I'm not here in Atlanta, do I have to fly here to work with you? Am I able to give you some still frames of like a photo shoot I did and you can kind of piece together something for me? How does that process look?
I mean, if I can understand your message, you don't have to like be in front of me. Now, to be honest with you, I'm a personal person, so I would kind of like for me to be in front of you. That would work for me best because I can understand you. Like, I like to see people, like, talk to you, and we could do that on FaceTime phone, but it's not as strong. But to be honest with you, if I understand your message, don't matter where you from, I could get it done.
Okay. Now, I'm not against that. Next thing I have to know, what are some things that you instill in your clients? Who is your ideal client? Because we all got our people that we would love to work with, and our people that we just absolutely won't work with. So when it comes to the ideal client, who are you looking for?
Typically somebody that understands like their mission and what they trying to solve. Like, if I got to come up with your mission for you, it kind of agitates me because I don't really want to tell you what you should be doing. If you can come to me already with your mission and what you want to do, I could figure everything else out. But you got to kind of have like the base. You got to kind of know which, like, who you are, what you trying to do, who you trying to reach, and then from there I could put it together for you.
Okay. And when you put it together, is that videos? Is that Like, what type of posts are that, or what type of content is that?
Yeah, so videos, reels. I mean, reels is my I would say my niche because I understand like social media, like pictures is cool, but it just doesn't move anything. You know, if you can create a reel, it pulls on the heartstrings of people. So reels and videos.
And now I love that. Now, short term content is amazing. Y'all make sure y'all check out our wheels at the Pull Up EXP. We will have many tonight. But when it comes to short form content, how do you immediately capture somebody's attention? Because it's hard to stop the scroll for somebody who is just getting started or somebody who's trying to convince you that I'm trying to change your life.
Yeah. I think relatability, like whatever your message is. Like if I play basketball and the person that's behind it, that scrolling play basketball already got your interest. So now I just got to create something for you to stop. And you already know what he like. So, okay, what's behind basketball? Why do he like basketball? Did his pops play? Did your pops play? Like if you can find a relatability, you can get people to stop and look at you.
So listen, I know that we also have not tapped into the fact that you also have your own podcast.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I got a podcast called ADP Podcast, and it's basically a mix of music industry and emotional intelligence. Really, the music industry as an artist is really emotions, right? Like what you put out, how hard you got to go. Everything is mental. So if you can understand emotional intelligence, if you can be emotionally mature, you can have a long stretch in the music industry.
Okay, awesome. And of course, speaking of this episode being basically a post game of the Podcast Summit Atlanta, what brought you here? Was this your first podcast summit? Were you here last year, or what prompted you to decide that you needed to learn more in the podcast realm?
Yeah, I mean, be honest with you, I follow Dave on Instagram, so it's not really. I come really for the networking. I mean, the podcast thing is cool, like, but I'm not super passionate about my podcast because I'm just doing this to give game to artists. I know a lot of stuff, so like, if I can give game, that's what I do. And most artists, they're not readers, so you got to kind of like put it in a creative form for them to actually like pay attention. So that's like listening. So that's why podcast is the best like route for that.
Okay, okay. Well, since yours was more of the networking when it came to what you're trying to pursue, what all did you gain today in the networking?
I actually learned a lot about what I do. Like I met a lot of social media people that was giving me game on things that I wasn't doing to that extent. So I learned a lot more about that and just that whole field, like just learning my game more and how to step my my stuff up.
Awesome, awesome.
Now, I have a question because I love the fact that you said you have to master yourself. What are some tips that you give away on your podcast to help people master that mentality and that emotional intelligence portion? Because that's huge.
Yeah. First, I think like you got to fail. I would say fail. Like whatever you try and do, get it out the way fast. Like figure out what it is. But failing to me is the best teacher. If you do something that doesn't work, you can learn why it didn't work, and then you can go back and temper it and fix it up. But the only way you can master your emotions is through failing, right? If everything goes well, you won't really learn anything. So your emotions won't move. Your emotions move when things don't go your way. So if you could figure out what happened during that process, you can come back and be better. So I would say fail fast.
What was a significant failure that helped you to find your pivot?
Man, I had so many, to be honest with you, but I would say a significant. I had a recording studio, and it failed. Right, I had like 1 year business, and next year I went out of business. But what it taught me was how to build a brick and mortar business. Right, so I kind of learned everything that I did wrong, from management to HR to finances. Everything that I messed up on, I was able to learn from.
So, failing forward, which is a life skill more than just business, that's life, period. And I love that you understand the beauty in failing forward and continuing to do that. How has the process of transparency been for you? Because a lot of times we'll fail in private. Like, y'all ain't gonna know. I low key busted my ankle coming up here today. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of us don't want to show the painful. We only want to show the pretty. And really, it's all about the point. How do we navigate that space to get to the point and understand that pain is part of the pretty, quite as it's kept?
I mean, I'm gonna keep it hot with you. I haven't mastered that yet. I haven't mastered how to show more transparency. I'm just really getting over that. Like I'm doing it now more, but when I lost a lot of stuff, I didn't show it. I showed it after it. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't show doing it because I didn't have enough confidence in myself because I was caring about what other people thought. But when I learned the only thoughts that matter is my thoughts and nobody else thoughts really matter about me, that's when I kind of getting past the, But I could show my failure because it don't really matter. I don't care what nobody thinks. So
Now, how did you retrain your brain? Because that's tough.
reading, like reading and literature, probably been my biggest key to changing my thought process, and just listening to people like Dave and influencers who kind of like I seen them fail, right? And they was transparent. I'm like, well, if they could be transparent, and they on that level, surely I can, you know. So reading and studying other people.
When you say reading, you know I'm about to ask what books, and I really don't care which one, but I like to know. I be in our business.
Yeah. The Subconscious Mind. That one helped me a lot. Jay Shetty got a book. I forgot the name of it, but you Google Jay Shetty, Lewis Himes. He got a book too. Dave got a few books as well. So if you just Google those names, all the books will come up, and those are the books that pretty much helped me.
What has been the most impactful room that you've been in today?
I don't know the name of the room, but I know when Donnie was speaking, I caught a lot of gems from her. I don't know what the title was, but I kind of came in like in the middle, and I just caught a lot of gems from her. I like when she talks about, because she's very transparent, you know, so I pick up a lot of game from her.
Yes, and shout out to Donnie and her strategy plays. They're amazing. It was all about the strategy and how to grow your podcast. So I felt that one myself. Next thing, we done talked about your past. We've talked about where you presently are. Now it's time to get into your future. Now, everybody says in the industry, music or otherwise, it's not a collaborative place to be. How can we help to change that narrative moving forward?
I mean, it's not a collaborative place to be if you're at the bottom. If at the bottom, no, it's not collaborative because everybody trying to snatch each other down. But once you get past the crabs, everybody's collabing. And people at the top collab. The only people that don't collab is the ones at the bottom. So once you get past like that, and really, if you kind of like embrace people and show people love, that's the only thing I think you owe people is love. Not just wishing for them what you want for yourself, just success and happiness. So if I show you love, naturally most people will show you love. If you show them hate, they're gonna show you hate. So I just think if you kind of put that on somebody else, they'll give it back to you.
And speaking of collabing, who would be someone that you would like to collaborate with that you haven't already?
When you said that, do you mean like give me like an example, like an influencer or like just anybody?
It could be anybody in the
or
world.
any
It could be
business.
influencer, artist, whatever comes to mind.
I think I would like to collab. I would like to collab with like Jay-Z. I feel like Hove is somebody that we all kind of want to collab with in the music industry. It's like certain people you can't meet. Like I done met probably much everybody, but it's a few people that you can't meet. That's Beyonce, Jay-Z, and that's pretty much it. Everybody else can get touched. So just meeting somebody on that caliber would be dope.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Not only is he artist, rapper, but also businessman. So there's so many different, facets that you can learn from him as well. That's awesome. And what does legacy look like for you and everything that you are pursuing?
Legacy, I think, is just leaving something behind for the next generation. You want to like make sure they have something to start with. Like I don't have to give you everything, but if you got more than I had, I think that's a win. I think every generation should be fathered than the next, but the only way they could be fathered next is if they left with something. So legacy is just like leaving something behind for the next person.
Awesome.
Now, you've been spitting game since we got you on camera. So, if people could take 3 things from this interview, what would you like them to take back with them?
I would say 3 things is first, find yourself. Once you find yourself, understand others, have some empathy, have some compassion. And then the third thing is just work hard. Whatever your craft is, just work super hard. I feel like with those 3 things, you can conquer anything.
Okay, awesome. And I mean, I know we've got to learn way more about you than we knew before. So this was a blessing in disguise. We just love the fact of networking, collaborating. So much that we learned today or these last 2 days with the podcast summit. So is there anything that we may have missed that you would love to, share with our subscribers, share with our viewers, share with our listeners?
Yeah, I got an ebook out right now. It's an audio ebook for artists. 8 things to do before you drop your music. I feel like a lot of artists don't get help in the beginning stages when it comes to what to do before you actually put the music out. So on my Instagram, I got a link. You can check that out. Again, it's at Trendset Inks. And it's 8 steps before you release your music. So I got an ebook out. My podcast I use just to give game, ADP podcast. You can subscribe to my YouTube. That's also on my link. and that's just giving knowledge, you know, in the music industry and basically getting people to understand their emotions better. Because again, if you can master your emotions, you could master the music industry, and then how to make money from it as well. So my ebook, my podcast, and just checking out my content. Also making content for other business owners. That's like my focus right now.
All right, got a lot going on. That's a good thing.
Yes.
Always a good thing.
It's an amazing thing. Well, thank you so much
Yes.
for joining us this evening.
Yes.
It's about to rain, y'all, so we gonna start packing this thing up before I get wet. But we thank you. We appreciate you for letting us pull up on you. We are inviting you to come and pull up on us anytime you're in Cleveland. We know you be outside. Come on, I'm with the questions.
All right. Can you describe, because I hear a lot of stories about Cleveland. Most of it is bad. I know it can't be what I really be hearing. So could you give me a honest description of Cleveland?
Oh, for sure. Don't. First of all, I'm so Cleveland. My birthday February 16th. Okay. Now, when it comes to Cleveland, we are full. We are a lit big city, right? One of the smallest big cities, but we a big city nonetheless. And we talk our talk. We stand on business because we handle business. We are full of entrepreneurs and opportunity. And a lot of the times people just don't understand that because they don't know. Now, somehow they don't understand that we got the best people. That we call it the land for a reason, the land of opportunity, the land of belief, the land to build and grow. Now, we do it at home with one another all the time because it's just different where we from. You know what I'm saying? But our pull-up game strong, and at any given time, we about that life because we about that action. So we talked all this podcast talking while everybody else got their notebooks, Cleveland outside, because that's what we do, right? So we come and pull up, and we invite people to pull up. More importantly, from this whole pull-up, you know, it's double entendre. Yeah, I'm gonna invite you to come see me. We're gonna definitely come and see about you. So don't make no mistakes. You know what I'm saying? But it's all about the elevation in Cleveland, and we are on a wonderful wave and wonderful trajectory. So the pull up is all about lowering our ladder. So when we get to the top, it's not just us. That's our thing. So
that gave me a perfect description.
Yes, I was gonna say, and Keita like to say we're more than just Bone Thugs and Harmony and LeBron James.
Yeah.
Big facts. Way more than LeBron and Bone Thugs. Y'all know. I make everybody say it. Matter of fact, can I get you to say it on camera?
Say what again? Let me make sure I repeat it right.
Cleveland is more than LeBron James and Bone Thugs.
Cleveland is more than LeBron James and Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Hey, that's all I need. That's why we got to pull up. Sometimes you just got to pull up on them. I want to hear him say it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to pop out and show them. You know what I'm saying? At least that's what I heard. Like 17 times this weekend. Either way. We can't close no better than that, y'all. I don't think I could end no better than just shining the light on Cleveland, but more specifically, letting y'all in Cleveland know they outside.
Yes.
Get out here and get to them. Stay connected. And what's wonderful is we have social media and other platforms. He already told you how to get with them. Mm-hmm. So make sure y'all stay connected. And when y'all do, tag the Pull Up EXP in all of your social media platforms so that we can hold both y'all accountable, because I want to see some content. Y'all know I'm all up in y'all business. We can't end no better than that. We're going to get out of here because I feel like I felt the sprinkle, y'all. Have a wonderful evening and tune in. Continue to pull up. Bye.